listening to the sweet sounds of the After Movie Diner. Support us at patreon.com/After Movie Diner. Or I'll punch you in the teats. Rate and review us on iTunes, Earthling. And now, here's your host, Jon Cross.
All right, well, Lord Lubberducks.
Welcome to Sunday Nihilism at the Diner.
Sunday Nihilism at the Diner. What did you say it was like? Mystery Science Theatre, only grumpier.
Yeah, grumpy Mystery Science Theatre.
Because we were in the cinema watching the trailers, and I was making...
I was watching the trailers.
Yeah.
Crossy was leaping in with arch...
Well, with commentary.
Arch commentary. That's not that I didn't have interest in them. I was just, tired. As I am now.
Well, I'm sorry if you're tired.
Well, it's my fault, isn't it?
But it is
It's my fault for working too hard during the week.
Oh, is that what it is?
It is.
Do you work too hard?
I work too hard. I'm at like 100 mile an hour every day during the week, and then the weekend.
You're all Mr. NBC now.
I'm Mr. NBC.
You're all Mr. NBC.
I am Mr.
By the way,
NBC.
They don't get a piece of this. They don't get a piece of the After Movie Diner.
No, they don't.
No. Because I own it.
Yeah.
Holy.
I'm a contributor, mate. Also, they're only interested in the things that make money. So.
This makes money. I mean. 20 pence here and
NBC wouldn't wipe their arse on the money this podcast makes.
Right. But if they want to absorb us and make us part of the NBC family, we could talk about that.
This isn't a Universal film, so we're all right.
A Universal film?
Yeah. If it was Universal or Focus Features or...
Wait, are you going to suddenly start telling me we're not allowed to talk about certain...
No, but I have to declare...
Because you've got a peacock.
I have to declare
firmly up your cleft.
I have to declare up front that I am a thing. So I think something like that.
What?
It's
so
fine.
If it's an NBC Universal movie, you have to declare up front, I am a puppet.
I am a puppet of the NBC state.
Owned.
Yeah. So anything positive I have to say about this movie is dog shit. It means nothing.
Right.
I'm preternaturally disposed to not bite the hand that feeds me.
Is it preternatural or is it preternatural?
I think it's preternatural.
I think it's preternatural.
Honestly, mate, if I haven't heard an English person say it in the last 10 years, I've forgotten.
I think you're a damn fool.
Well, that's true. What's that got to do with anything, though? I'm going to have pancakes.
So we should probably cockney it up for this episode.
We should. I haven't got the energy to be cockney.
You can't.
That's the trouble.
You lack the cockney energy.
I lack the cockney energy.
Really?
Like the cockney fire.
We should call each other darling a lot.
Yeah.
And say.
And we should all have goatee beards and leather caps.
Leather caps.
I'm going to go ahead and guess that for some reason everybody in this movie had to look like Guy Ritchie.
No, but I don't think it's because they look. What I think is interesting.
They do all look the same. They all have the same beard.
No, because McConaughey didn't have a beard.
No, but he's McConaughey. There's they probably went, how would you feel about a beard and a cap? He went, I'll wear the cap in one scene.
Yeah.
But
no beard.
McConaughey doesn't wear a beard.
So, before we get into the gentleman,
Chin chin.
Exciting.
It is good to see you.
It's good to see you too. Exciting times at the diner. The diner.
Really?
The diner this month is going to be hot.
Is it
hot? It's going to be ramped up to 11, mate.
Is it?
Yeah.
Why?
A few words for you.
Yeah.
Sundance Film Festival.
Yeah.
We have boots on the ground.
Is that the people who write things for you that you publish?
Yeah.
Cool.
Boots on the ground at the Sundance Film Festival.
As opposed to people that write things for you that you don't publish.
What are you talking about?
Nothing. Crack on. It's hot times in the diner. Tell me about the hot times in the diner.
That was a thinly veiled dig at the whole Hammer horror thing.
It's fine. It's all right that you're sitting on 3 reviews for reasons. I know you're waiting to strike that with your that you're gauging the cultural zeitgeist for the moment.
Well, yeah, but Sundance is timely, isn't it?
No, Sundance is timely. I know there's like a thing.
And also, I've been really, really tired and stressed out because it's been my trade show over in San Fran.
Oh, yeah, that's right. No, I get it. And
anyway, you've totally spoiled yet again.
Spoiled everything.
My spiel.
This is why I don't get the things published, because I spoil. Every time he thinks about doing something nice to me, the next day we meet up, I spoil everything. Anyway, I'm not doing that then.
So anyway,
I remove your enthusiasm for me.
hard times at the diner.
Hard times at the diner.
It's, we're cutting edge.
Cutting edge. At the Sundance Film Festival.
Sundance Film Festival.
Sundance Film Festival.
Boots on the ground.
Boots on the ground, mate. I do enjoy the Sundance reviews at the diner.
Yeah. So we got that.
I should say I am employed by the diner and therefore I am disposed to say positive things about the diner. Just to get that out of the way.
Yeah, just to get it out of the way.
I need to be consistent.
Yes.
Not just NBC.
Yes.
Also, literally anything to do with the diner.
Yeah.
I have to declare up front that I work for the diner.
Do you work for the diner?
I don't get paid.
No.
In fact, I pay.
Yeah. Well, not all the time.
Yeah, I do.
Not all the time.
What do you mean?
Well, I pay for dinner sometimes.
No, I mean, but I contribute to the diner.
Oh, yeah. Well, all right.
The diner doesn't pay me.
Well, we're an anarcho-syndicalist commune or whatever. Although, except you don't take it in turns to be the executive officer.
No, but I Patreon for the diner, don't I?
Oh, right. Yes,
so I'm saying I don't get paid by the diner.
Oh, wow.
In fact,
yeah, no,
I pay for the diner.
Yeah,
that's
you
what I mean.
Patreon the diner.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
All right, you've derailed me again.
All right, Sundance Film Festival. Boots on the ground. Boots on the ground. Man.
Don't do that.
Don't do that.
By the microphone.
No, that was my. That's
I
the
know,
sound
but
effect of boots on the ground.
But nobody needs a sound effect. Of
all right, everyone knows what a boot on the ground sounds like.
So there's that, and then
there'd be like a snowy crunch at Sundance.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's.
Then there's this new podcast.
January.
Still, yeah.
Yeah.
Then there's this new podcast coming out, The Gentleman. It's very exciting.
Very exciting.
There's
do another one on Thursday.
There's my new album on February 12th. My new miscellaneous.
Why February the 12th?
Album. It's my birthday.
Are you releasing on your birthday?
Yeah.
Okay. Is that a subtle attempt to emotionally blackmail people into buying the album?
Yeah.
Because I think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, but excitement.
Yeah.
Album name and cover reveal on February 1st.
Cool.
Couldn't look less impressed.
No, I'm trying to remember when February the 1st is. Is that soon?
It's next Saturday.
Next Saturday. Okay, good. Next Saturday.
So cover reveal and name of the album.
So this Saturday. You should say this Saturday.
This Saturday.
Because by the time people listen to the episode.
Got it, yes. This Saturday, name and cover reveal. Then February 12th, 2 weeks later, album drops, mate. Right. Hot as
How are you going to keep
love.
Up the red hot anticipation between February the 1st
I'll tell you what else we've got in the pipeline.
In the pipeline.
In the chute.
Spurting out of your pipes.
Yeah. Spurting out of the pipes.
Do you know what you want? You know what you want.
I do, yes. Spurting out of the diner pipes. We have yet another interview with...
Actually, we're getting on a bit, so it's less spurting and more dribbling. Dribbling out of our rusty pipes.
I mean, my pipes are not rusty. I don't know what's happened to your pipes, but...
Dribbling out of our rusty pipes.
Yeah, wow. Okay, you just want to really triple down on this.
Yeah.
Yet another interview with... And he's hot. He's very hot right now.
Okay.
Hot.
But when you say yes, another interview with, it's the first interview with this person.
No, second interview with this person.
Oh, it is? Okay.
Yeah, second
right.
interview with this person. But he's red hot right now. Red hot.
Is it Matthew McConaughey?
We turn them away once, and therefore they're never coming back. That's how this is going to work. We literally said we weren't ready yet, and then it's
now they hate us.
And now it's been 20 minutes. William Sadler.
Oh, Sadler's back.
Is back, and do you know why he's hot?
Oh, because of the movie.
Dead 3 this year.
That's right.
But
doesn't he have a movie out?
VFW.
When is that out?
Coming out Valentine's Day, 2 days after my birthday.
Is it in New York? Is it playing in New York?
It will be, yeah.
We should go see that.
I've seen it already. I got a screener.
Oh, very nice.
Very nice. I got a screener.
Would you go and see it again then?
Maybe. I don't know if it's your cup of tea.
Oh, it's not my cup of tea?
Well, it's very grindhousey genre-y. Like lots of blood, guts.
I don't mind blood
fighting,
and guts sometimes.
Old dudes.
I don't mind blood and guts and fighting.
Okay. So we got...
it's not all like, flowery dresses and
French
violins.
New Wave.
Yeah. I hate a French New Wave. I hate it when they made me study it. Bollocks.
What about the German New Wave?
I don't know what that is.
Like Wim Wenders and Herzog and all that.
I seem to remember quite liking what's the Angels one?
Wings of Desire.
Yeah, I quite like that.
That's the only one anyone's ever seen. That and Paris, Texas.
Oh yeah, I did like Paris, Texas.
Well, he's very cozy as Vim. Vim's movies are kind of cozy.
That's true.
They're kind of slow-moving, cozy, atonal. But yeah, William Sadler.
That's great.
Or as I call him, because we're now close personal friends, Billy Saddles.
How does he feel about being called Billy Saddles?
I don't really call him Billy Saddles. I just call him Bill.
Bill? He probably like Bill. Right?
No, I call him Bill.
That's very cool.
Well, he calls himself Bill to me, and then I...
Did he talk about clocks? His clocks? He likes clocks. Right?
I didn't ask him about the clocks.
Gave you an in, right?
I asked him about VFW.
Yes, thank you very much. Sorry about that. Can I get pancakes, pile of pancakes with sausages and a cup of English breakfast tea with milk? Thank you.
And could I get baked potato with a little bit of butter and some cheddar cheese and some ham?
On the potato?
On the potato. Yeah, just a little cheese and a little ham, like on the potato. Thank you. And apparently not a drink.
Well, you never had to take a drink anyway.
Well, I was going to have a cup of tea. But
You had a cup of tea?
I was going to, but she walked away, so whatever. She was already annoyed at my potato discussion. I'm like, because I was making the hand gesture of putting cheese on top of a potato.
Because you were going, no, I need you to put the cheese and the ham on the potato. And what she was looking at you was, I know where do you think I was going to put it? On my head? And then sneeze?
Well, they could have put
and then the ham and the cheese with the force of the sneeze.
No, they could have put a slice of
ham
ham next to the potato rather than a loaded potato.
Yeah, they could have done something like that. That's true. I think you did the right thing.
Right, except she walked away without offering whether I wanted a drink.
She hates us.
Yeah. So we're going to get probably Asian
She liked me because my order nearly breaks $20, but your order barely scrapes 10. So she's getting like $1, maybe $2.
How does your... Oh, because you pancake, sausage, tea?
Pancake and sausage is 15. Tea's bound to be 3. So I'm nearly getting 20.
But I can't have them.
Why can't you have sausages?
Because they're fried, aren't they?
Not greasy though. It's not like bacon.
Well, bacon you can do it in
Ham
the
and
grill.
cheese could be pretty greasy. You're only melting it.
No, I know, but it's plainer. It's plainer.
I get it.
But anyway, so William Sadler.
So Sundance
Bill
Sadler.
Sundance Sadler.
Can
New
you describe your
podcast.
music with an S?
Sensational.
Okay. Sundance Sadler and
You don't seem to agree.
What?
You don't seem to agree. There's a cynicism.
No, there's
a cynicism about my sensationality, and I feel that
cynicism.
that is unwarranted.
About your music?
Yeah.
No, I didn't. No, I'm saying I just thought if it was Sadler and Sundance, it'd be good if your music was
Shit.
other big
My
part.
music. Shit.
Okay, there, yeah, shit.
That's what you think.
Shitty waste of music.
Let me just give you some names.
Yeah.
Matt Moto Media Farley.
Thank you very much.
Matt Moto Media Farley.
Wow, big name.
Jay Holdermayer.
Another big name.
Johnny Unicorn.
He's an Australian chap, right?
No.
But he's covered like does he do stuff for the cover?
He's part of the Moto Media cover.
Yeah.
Dr. Nick Console.
Okay, yeah.
This one you wouldn't know, but Mitch Armbruster, also known as Todd Got Overexcited.
Don't know who that is.
All contributing to the album.
Very nice.
Yeah. Oh, it is a cornucopia of musical talents. So the nice thing about it is when you buy the album, you're not just buying more of me. You're getting a mixture, an ensemble.
You're getting more than you would normally usually get.
Not only that, but I've plugged in this time. I'm electric. I've gone electric.
Wow.
I have blown the doors off this joint.
Wow.
Or if Guy Ritchie was to write it, I've blown the bloody doors off with the fucking Uja Maflip and the what's it, darling? Whatever. You can. Yeah. So this is the Miscellaneous Plumbing Fishers album for the ages. This is my ELO time. This is my that's what this is.
Really?
Yeah, full blown. There's saxophones on it. I mean, I don't have to say any more, but there are saxophones on it, and multiple. The first track has, I think, 5 guitar tracks on it, with me playing some lead, and Timothy Parental playing, who's another contributor, friend of J Mez, playing another lead, and we do dueling leads on the opening track. That's just the opening track.
So what's it called, the album?
We don't know yet.
Oh, that's fine.
I'm revealing it on February 1st.
Is that because you haven't decided?
That's because I haven't decided yet.
What are the contenders
Contenders?
for names?
I'm not revealing that. February
But
1st.
people won't hear this until Wednesday. Will they? By which time it'll only be 3 days until the actual
One
reveal.
of the contenders is It Is What It Is.
Okay.
Well, because I've had like catch up, see it or don't, see if I care. I've had some of those like phrases, and like It Is What It Is. That's kind of been
I
revolving
like it.
around
Sort of
the place.
defeatist.
Yeah, it is what it is. There's something around the theme of last chances that I've been playing with.
Do you feel like this album is your last chance?
No, but the album ends with a track called You're My Last Chance. And there's a lot of, it kind of neatly ties up a lot of the thematic threads.
Last chances are thematically strong.
Yeah, they are thematically strong. And also, because you can kind of, there's two themes that run through the album. One is last chances. And
Don't let the last chance saloon door hit you on the way out.
No, too long. The band name is already Miscellaneous Plumbing. You have to find space on the album cover that is being revealed on February 1st.
No, album cover's easy. It's just a picture, isn't it? You don't need to put words on it. Nobody gives a shit. It's just a visual, isn't it? Got words underneath it on your Spotify page or whatever. That's where the words live. The album is just
The words don't live on the album?
visual, you know.
I like to put the
representation.
words on the album.
I know you do, mate. You're old school.
The other thing is there's a lot of songs on the album that deal with the idea of a place.
One place?
No,
or
no,
just
no,
a
like
place?
both a metaphorical
Are
place.
you saying like a fish?
What? No, not the fit.
I mean, don't most songs like have something to do with a place?
No, they do, but not a specific
Is it one place throughout the whole album?
no, a visual of a place, like an ideal of a place.
Well, I'm not sure I follow.
When you hear the album, you'll get it.
Okay.
Either places to run to, or places to stay at, or places to observe.
I know what places are. You're
No,
literally
right.
describing
But
places.
but there's like the last chance place, or the last something. I don't know. The last place.
Places. It feels like that's quite broad.
No, it's not. No.
I mean, everywhere is a place. Right now, we're sitting in a place.
No, mate.
Over there, that's another place.
No, it's
but on
not.
the other hand, it's also the same place.
It's to do with.
Huh?
You'll hear it on the album.
I will. Well, you're very confident. I'm going to buy and listen to the album.
Well, you don't have to buy it. I'll send it to you.
No, I mean, I think if it's your birthday, I should probably buy it. I pay for the diner, even though I should be getting paid. I feel like I could chuck you a few beans for your album, right? For the last chance place, the last place chance.
The last.
No, it's not good.
No.
Last place chance?
No.
Last chance place.
The chance of last place.
The place of last chance?
Potentially. It is what it is. Do you know, I don't, like, what's funny is, just like I don't really remember how to play any of my songs once I recorded them, I also don't remember really many of my album titles. Unless I, like, really think about it.
Interstate, Tales of Interstate.
Tales of Interstate 80.
80.
From the Shed.
Right.
The Weekend album, obviously.
Catch Up or Don't See If I Care.
Catch Up or Don't See If I Care. The Pleasant Thing. Wake Up, It's Not Over.
Wasn't the last one like Banjalele Boogaloo or something?
No. That was like 6 years ago, and it was called Bad Time Banjalele.
Bad Time Banjalele.
No,
I wasn't far off with Banjalele Boogaloo.
Then there was one called Almost Naked,
Oh yeah, I remember that one.
which I really...
Which was a way of saying I haven't done any backing tracks.
Yeah. Right. I did some, but not a lot.
Yeah, no, but you kept it like within an aesthetic.
And then the last album, which had a lot of... was Former Glory.
That's right.
Because that's
Which my contribution to was saying you should use that picture.
Yeah.
Which I was right.
I don't know how right you were.
I was right.
You know, Johnny's all over that album.
Yeah.
Johnny Cole.
Is he on this one?
No. He was offered, but busy.
But declined.
No. He was going to, but then he got very busy with his class. But I found horns elsewhere. Mitch plays some horns and Johnny Unicorn plays.
Cool.
So it's very exciting. Anyway, enough of that tosh.
We done enough publicity for you?
Billy Sadler.
Have we?
Billy Sadler.
Billy Sadler.
Bill and Ted 3. VFW. When They See Us. The Ava DuVernay miniseries on Netflix. It was very hot last year.
He was in that, was he?
Yeah, he was.
Cool.
So he's right on the cusp.
He is.
I mean, you can go up and tap Billy Saddles any day of the night, and he is on the cusp.
It's true.
Any day of the night. I don't know what that is.
Oh, I like that.
Any day of the night. That would be a good album title. Any day of the night. Doesn't mean anything.
Don't like it.
No. You liked it when I said it.
Yeah, but not as an album.
But not as an album.
I think you can do better. We've done better. Like, if you went back and listened to our episodes, so many times that we've come up with really great albums.
What was that?
He's one of them.
Gwyneth Paltrow's talk therapist or whatever it was.
Yes! That's what I'm saying to you, yes.
What was it? Gwyneth Paltrow's?
Gwyneth Paltrow's dog therapist, I think.
Yeah. I don't think that I need an album.
That was the
cool.
band name, though.
That was?
The band was called Gwyneth Paltrow's Dog Therapy.
You know, she's got a TV series on Netflix now all about
I bet
her.
episode 3 is dog therapy.
And now Goop is moving into dog therapy.
And now Goop presents.
And then
therapizing your dog.
And then Jim's like, I fucking knew it.
And all therapizing a dog means, like, Gwyneth Paltrow is like stuffing an Egyptian pebble up its arse or something. Thank you very much.
Stuffing an Egyptian pebble.
I'm telling you, with the right PowerPoint presentation, I could sell that to Paltrow. Did you know the ancient Egyptians would often stuff pebbles up their dog's ass?
Up a dog's ass. It had great wellness potential.
Yeah.
Oh, I hate the word wellness.
Me too.
Because for me, Goop and all that left bang shower just represents the word wellness. Like, it just wellness. It's such a wet, dribbly marketing word that it represents garbage like Goop. Anyway, we went to see The Gentleman.
We did.
Guy Ritchie's latest
movie.
Now, what's interesting is that since he moved away from the whole
gangster pictures,
lock, stock, revolver, snatch,
rock and roller. That was his last one.
And moved, I think so, and moved into the arena of the.
All right, stick enough money in my pockets, and I'll make whatever you want.
Make whatever garbage you want. We've quite enjoyed it.
I have to say, it's just for me. When people stuff money in Ritchie's pockets and he makes whatever they want, he makes quite fun movies. But I'm not I don't mind Lock, Stock. It's okay. Snatch also fine. But I've never been like a massive fan of the whole British gangsters are cool thing in general when it happened. Gangster number one, all that, like the thing that Lock, Stock kicked off for like
Layer Cake.
10 years. Yeah, all that bollocks. I've just never been that big a fan. I don't generally like gangster films anyway, as a rule.
Well, once you've made The
like,
Long Good Friday and Get Carter, you really don't need to make anything else.
But Get Carter's more about like Get Carter's good because he's like but he's a flawed, doomed character doing one thing that's not enough, but it's something. But even then, it's more like he's kind of destroying himself.
No, I get it.
Anyway, but my point is, no one's like, I don't know. I just.
But we liked the Sherlock Holmes.
I like Sherlock Holmes movies.
We like King Arthur.
I like King Arthur. I liked Man from U.N.C.L.E.
I did not see Man from U.N.C.L.E.
Oh, Man from U.N.C.L.'s fun.
Is it good?
Yeah. I mean, it's it's exactly what you'd expect. But it's quite fun.
So there's all those, and we found those quite fun.
Yes.
And then there's this one, which is sort of back in the Lock, Stock
it is,
mould.
Yeah. Which is, I'm going to dress everybody like me and get them to call each other cunts.
Yeah.
And hang around in stately homes.
Yeah.
It feels a bit like what Guy Ritchie's life is like, only with a plot.
It feels a bit like what Guy Ritchie's life is like.
Yeah, hanging out at stately homes, wearing caps, calling everybody a cunt, pitching things to movie execs. Only there's like a plot.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Here you are.
Oh, thank you very much.
Perfect. Thank you. That is exactly what I asked for. That is an enormous piece of paper.
Some actually quite nice looking sausages too.
Yeah. So,
did you like it?
What? It was all right.
It was right. It was all right.
It was all right. It was a lot of talking.
It was a lot of talking.
Lot of talking.
Also, if you're going to make a film where it's all like, but actually, it's like, right, well, the Russian kid is obviously, the Russian kid's dad is going to be you forgot about the Russian kid. Okay, we didn't forget about the Russian kid. You know what I mean?
Well, none of the reveals were,
and the last bit at the end, it made no sense. Like, why did the kids kill the Russian?
Well, they weren't. They were going after Michael.
Yeah, but why?
Because they knew that Colin Farrell was frustrated with having to do a bunch of stuff for him. And they were like, we'll take him out.
It was a shoehorned in thing. I know what you're saying, but it was shoehorned in. It wasn't.
Dude, the whole film was a shoehorn.
It was a big pricey shoehorn.
The film was, I have size 13 feet, and this is an 11 size shoe, and I'm just gonna.
Well, what was good about it? Hugh Grant was great. I really liked Hugh Grant.
Yeah, I mean, the acting was fine. Charlie Hunnam can't decide what accent to do.
No. What was he?
All over the place. Yeah. Was he from up north? Was he from down south? Was he like quasi-American? Like no one...
Is it because he actually talks like that? And that's why he has such a strange accent? Because he needs to talk like a working class fella? That's why we need to, like, if he was...
Is that what you really thought about?
I don't know. I can only assume if you're going, we need an English accent, Charlie, and he puts that... Is he from Wales or something?
Well, wasn't he in... Sons of Anarchy?
I don't know, maybe.
Like, he may be American.
Oh, maybe.
I don't know.
He was in King Arthur, wasn't he?
Yeah,
if he's the lead in an American cable TV series, he's more likely to be English than American.
True. But yeah, I think he's. I don't know where he's from, but his accent was all over the place. Also, he had nothing to do. Like, he was a nothing character. So essentially, right. Essentially, The Gentleman, what's funny about it is that for years after Lock, Stock, everyone just said Guy Ritchie's watched The Long Good Friday and is just trying to remake it. And The Gentleman is sort of the closest he's got to doing there's a London crime boss, this is what he's doing, and over the course of the next few days he's going to have a rough old time of it because of X, Y, and Z. Now,
American interference as well.
Now, Guy Ritchie over eggs the pudding to the point where the pudding is entirely eggs.
Yeah. And it is only eggs.
It's a shoehorn covered in eggs. That's what
So you have to eat eggs.
Yeah.
With a shoehorn. That's what it is. It's a bowl of eggs with a shoehorn instead of a spoon. Right. That's what we've been served. And if you're hungry and you're not fussed, alright, I'll eat a bowl of eggs with a shoehorn.
The problem is it should have all been Hugh Grant and Colin Farrell.
Yeah, they were, yeah.
Because when they were on screen, I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
When anything else was going on, I was like, Ritchie, get on with it. Now, he does have a very neat turn of phrase.
Occasionally.
Yeah, occasionally.
But if every single thing that everybody says all the time is a turn of phrase, it becomes kind of tiresome.
Oh, no. He has the Tarantino syndrome where every character sounds exactly like all the other characters. So he definitely has that. Which is annoying. And I mean, the biggest problem is he doesn't have an original idea in his head. That's the biggest problem.
How did it take 3 people to come up with a story for that? Like, what's the story?
There isn't one.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
The story broadly is Matthew McConaughey is an American wonderkind who did very well at school, came over to study at Oxford, found out he was much better at dealing pot than he was actually...
Well, growing it, right? Because he was a botany student or whatever. Like, he grew
No, he started off dealing it. He figured out a way shortly after he left Oxford, because of all the toffs that he came in contact with at Oxford. He figured out this way.
He was a botany student. He was a botanist.
I don't know. All right, he was a botany student. I do not remember that coming up, but okay.
No, but I'm saying he's not just that. Oh, he's really, he's like clever or whatever. He specifically got into Oxford to study botany. So I'm assuming the reason his stuff is so great and he grows it is because he's a botany whiz or whatever.
I don't remember that being said, but okay.
Well, it's very important to me. That detail.
Basically, he realises that in the aristocracy in England, because of the estate tax and various other stuff, that with every passing generation, they can't really hold on to the land or the housing that they inherit with each passing generation.
Right.
And therefore, the younger toffs, while they might be land rich, are cash poor.
Right.
He also realises that there is no other land in England except for stately home land, because most other land in England has some sort of public bylaw to it. So he decides to pay off a bunch of toffs that he met through Oxford to allow him to put marijuana fields under their fields, essentially.
Right.
And do all his growing through there for a tidy sum to keep them in the life that they're accustomed, allow them to keep hold of their housing, but also allowing him to grow the best pot in Europe under the noses of everybody without anyone knowing about it, and rise to prominence in the London/British underworld, while also swanning about with a bunch of toffs.
Right.
He has got, he's married, he's got a bunch of businesses, he's tired of the violence and of the being king of it all-ness, and wants to retire, and is setting up a business deal with a Jewish-American guy, gangster, and is looking to sell his pot fields and his whole operation for just shy of £500 million, £500 million. Thinks it's all got set up, and then one night, one of his pot containers gets busted by a bunch of young boxers from a gym that is run by Colin Farrell, all wearing, I don't know, ironic plaid tracksuits. And that starts to drive the price down on the whole operation and leave McConaughey with only one source of action, which is to eradicate his competition and maintain his kingdom. Which he does, by knowing what everyone's going to do before they know what they're going to do. Using his right-hand man, played by Charlie Hunnam. Into the mix comes Hugh Grant, who is a private detective who is trying to play everyone off each other to make a bunch of money, because if information about McConaughey leaks to the press, it's a problem. If information leaks to McConaughey's competition, it's a problem. So he's trying to play all the angles and get $20 million from McConaughey. But again, really, that is a red herring. That is a way to make the plot seem more interesting.
Especially since right at the end, there's a whole actually, what you thought was happening the whole time, it was actually something different.
Yeah.
I knew you couldn't resist scotch or steak and a barbecue. You're like, oh wow. He's totally played Hugh Grant with his cunning mind games. Why did you do that? Well, I did this because I knew that at some point you'd want to have a piss. Right, and then you go for a piss, and I tell you to take your shoes off, which you would, and then I planted a bright white tracking device on the inside of your black shoes. So, well then you don't. Then what's the barbecue and the steak and anything got to do with anything?
None of it.
A fucking tracking device in your shoe.
Not only that, but
are you kidding?
Not only that, but the twist at the end was, while Hugh Grant had been watching all of the people all of the time, Charlie Hunnam had been watching Hugh Grant.
Yeah, we're doing like,
all of the time.
You're wrong twist at the very start. And here's a shot of me. Wait, where's the bit when? Like, how did you know? Do you know what I mean? There was no like. It was that whole thing of like, I'm telling you a story, but just like heist. That rubbish heist movie thing of like, actually all the time I was hiding in a bag like on your head or whatever, you know what I mean? And now actually, well, I've got a buddy or whatever the fucking bollocks is. It's like that, right. Only it's like, actually we knew what you were doing the whole time. Well then, why'd you keep him talking?
Right.
Well, so I can put the tracking device in your shoe. Or you could just follow him.
Right.
Like, you've got lots of people who do literally nothing but follow people. I mean, that's all that happened. Why does he need to, like, give him £1,500 scotch?
The reason why we say over-egg the pudding is it's one of those movies where everyone thinks they're being the writers all think they're being incredibly clever and have woven this twisty-turny plot, when actually they haven't, and all it is a bunch of people.
And it's all they go, "Whoa, look at all this! Don't look at the Russian kid." Whoa, and you go, well, I'm looking at the Russian kid who's clearly. Oh, I don't know who you are. Oh, well, he's going to be really important the rest of the movie. Oh, he's Russian. I wonder if his dad's really powerful. He's going to end up fucking everything up. You know, I mean, it's like there's a lot of bollocks going on to distract you from the thing that's like, don't look at the fucking thing.
Well, so my feeling is this: if you want to do.
My feeling is, if you want to give somebody...
if you want to do one of these movies, right, where basically the charm of the movie is a bunch of people talking in colloquial Cockney / British slang while wearing a bunch of, heightened costumes and doing stuff that, is a little bit gangsterish, and you want to do it with like a quick fire patter, blah blah blah, and a bunch of like running around and stuff, which is absolutely fine. I mean, again, the plot and everything, such as it is bollocks, but that's absolutely fine. But you have to pep it up. You have to keep the barrels rolling. You have to keep the beans flowing. And my problem with it was that the first 50 minutes were too slow.
Yeah.
And also, it's the laziest screenwriting device to have character, Jeff Exposition show up in the apartment and be like, let me lay the whole thing out for you. And then also, at a certain point, Hugh Grant was reduced to saying things like, oh, but what was really important is what happened next. And I'm like, so the last 3 times you said that then, like he said that like 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, you're right. He did say that. I think what's distractive to me is that here you've got Guy Ritchie, right? And he likes
they're all giving it the beans.
Yeah, that's fine. Here you've got Guy Ritchie, right? He likes gangster films. Fair enough, he likes a gangster film. He makes lots of talking to like about. He doesn't have a lot of money, but he makes some interesting casting decisions. Obviously has an eye for people with charisma. Like everybody in that movie is really charismatic.
Along with Matthew Vaughn, who helped him produce it.
Right.
Who also went on to do a lot of Fun as Beans movies.
That's true.
Yeah.
Then Richard goes off, having made those movies, and makes a whole ton of stuff. Different time periods, different kinds of movies, but always, with a sense of fun.
Yeah.
And something a little bit cheeky.
Yeah, I mean, having Jude Law and Charlie Hunnam in King Arthur, cockneying up the beans and running about, that was damn good fun.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. And having like Jude Law being likeable in Sherlock Holmes. Like, they're fun movies. I prefer the second one, but they're both fun movies. It's odd to me that having done all that, experienced all that filmmaking, like big budgets, made a lot of friends, clearly, like he drafted in a lot of people, made a name for himself enough that he can, get these people involved. and he basically goes back and makes like the same film he made the first time. I just feel like, couldn't you have, I don't know, stretched yourself a little bit more?
No, I mean, this is his,
I suppose so.
this is his, I'm going to have a bit of fun now. And what's incredible about this is that, you know, when you look at King Arthur was not like it might have had a big budget, but it was not a big release. Neither was Man from Uncle particularly. Not like the only two ones that have really been
No, but they wanted King Arthur.
huge was the Sherlock Holmes ones.
They wanted King Arthur and Man from Uncle to be franchise starters.
But they weren't.
No, I know, because they flopped.
Right, but that's what I'm saying.
Oh, right.
But what's crazy is The Gentleman has opened huge everywhere.
Really?
Yeah, it's sold out this weekend across the board. What I mean opened huge, I mean it's on a ton of screens.
Right, okay.
And all the screenings in New York today were sold out. And it's getting fairly decent press. And I'm just kind of like, is it because everyone doesn't have a memory of what happened 25 years ago? Like, is that why?
I guess it's probably just a hunger for things, for just old-fashioned kind of movies, where it's not like where people like superheroes, but it doesn't involve scary children. I mean, that's your choices these days, isn't it? Right?
Superheroes and scary children.
Superheroes or scary children.
Superheroes, scary children. Got me running.
You are right. Bowie should have sung that song. That's, yeah.
Well, he did Scary Monsters.
No, I know, but I actually think your version is better.
What, superheroes
and scary children?
Superheroes.
You'd be like, Bowie saw the future again.
Yeah.
So clearly, like, the thought of an old-fashioned, 90s-esque ensemble piece about, like, lovable fucking gangsters.
Yeah.
Which I confess to never being a big fan.
I don't know. I think it has a place. I don't mind movies like this.
I don't mind it.
I don't think they're worth a damn, but I think they're fun to watch once. I actually was sat there watching this being like, I will watch this now. I will never, ever, ever sit down and watch this ever again.
There was a part in the middle when I was kind of enjoying it. In the middle when I was...
I enjoyed all of it, but I won't watch it again.
The beginning was a bit off-putting and boring. There were too many things that didn't work. But the middle bit I quite liked, when it was all like super complicated, lots of stuff was going on, and I didn't know who was going to come out of it, and who was really good and who was really bad, and who was going to But like McConaughey seemed to make it out of it just on the basis of being McConaughey. He didn't really outthink anybody. He didn't really outfight anybody, or like he just survived.
Right.
I don't really get. It didn't. The whole thing of him being like super dangerous and all the rest of it. They never really. He was just McConaughey, like. Do you know what I mean? Drawling and like being louche.
Right. Yeah,
I just can't see him like louching in to like somebody's flat with a machete and like louching them to death. You know what I mean? If anybody was going to like monologue when they should be macheteing, it's McConaughey. You know what I mean? Like to really like establish yourself as a fearsome, gangster in the London underworld, you've got to be macheteing and not monologuing, and I just don't see McConaughey pulling that off.
No.
Do you know what I mean?
But he did in his earlier days. Well, that was the other thing, is that there was this whole idea in the movie of, meaning McConaughey's story was, he'd grown up paying his dues, as it were, by being a violent son of a bitch. And he didn't want to be anymore. And the idea that he didn't have to be anymore. But the ultimate upshot of the movie was that he still had to be, kind of thing. And I'm like, I don't know, there could have been something there and there wasn't. Like, there could have been if it was about I'm Guy Ritchie. I'm getting older. I know I can make the fun blockbuster movies, but I'm a little too old to be making gangster movies anymore. So this is my last hurrah, and I'm going to do the King Lear of gangster movies, British gangster movies. I would have been all over that.
Yeah, that would have been. Yeah, you're right. That would have been good. That would have been interesting.
Yeah. As it is, his next film is another British gangster film.
Is it?
Yeah. He's remaking a French gangster film, but as a British gangster film, and he's reuniting with Jason Statham for the first time in like 15 years.
Oh, well, that I'm interested in. What French film is he remaking?
A heist film, like a heist thing about a secured. What are they called? The vans, the
Securicore?
like the Brinks trucks,
What's a Brinks truck?
like a Securicore truck,
Okay.
like a heist of one of them.
I mean,
Because Statham, so there's bound to be a lot of driving, you know.
that's true. Well, I trust him to do something good if it's someone else's story. I just don't trust him to come up with the story.
No.
I don't think he's got anything interesting to say. I think what he does do,
I don't think he's interested in saying anything, really.
what he does do really well is take something like generic and that made by anybody else would be super boring, and add enough weird, spicy things that are interesting to him. Cockney accents, lovable roads, what have you, and therefore make it more interesting.
Right.
And that's it. It's like, here we got a dumb movie.
Well, because his Sherlock Holmes films are not Sherlock Holmes films. They're Indiana Holmes and the MacGuffin of Cockney.
Yeah.
The Cockney MacGuffin.
And the Cockney MacGuffin.
It's Indiana Holmes and the Cockney MacGuffin. It's what his Sherlock Holmes film is.
Which is like, that's fine.
But also that is absolutely fine.
Yeah. Given what they've done to Sherlock Holmes since then, it makes his like version not like fucking,
His is fucking
you know what I mean?
Shakespeare
Like
compared
Conan
to,
Doyle, yeah, approved.
compared to fucking Benedict Cumberbatch's wank. What if, instead of writing the Strand magazine, what if Watson had a blog? That's cutting edge. Oh, that is cutting edge.
Blogs are very now.
We took the pulse of the nation, and we found out that blogs are very now. Do you know what else is now? Texting. Could Holmes text? Could he text?
We put the text on the screen.
Yeah, while he's
That
texting.
is crazy.
That is crazy.
You are
That's
literally
amazing.
reinventing television. Yeah, so fuck all that shit. So I don't mind him making or turning French films into like Cockney gangster romps, or turning ancient myths of England into Cockney gangster romps, or turning Sherlock Holmes into a Cockney gangster. He can, if he turns anything with a story into a Cockney gangster romp, I will watch it and quite enjoy it.
Yeah.
But if he only makes a Cockney gangster romp based on nothing, but his own brain, is rubbish. I mean, not rubbish, but just fluff. It's empty. It's based on nothing. I don't know what I'm watching or why I'm watching it.
I think the reason to watch this, if you want to go see it at all, are the performances. It is Hugh Grant and Colin Farrell
Hugh Grant and Colin Farrell are great.
having a ton of fun.
Yeah, lovely.
Thank you.
I think I'm done. Actually, no, I think I'm done. Yeah. Thank you.
Anything else for you tonight?
Not for me, I'm
Yeah,
good.
we're all done, right? I could watch like a double bill of like Farrell and Grant solve crimes or something. That would be really fun.
Now, what was your feeling towards the whole meta nature of it?
The whole
meta nature, where Hugh Grant was at one point telling a story, but also at the same time pitching the movie you're watching at the same time as you're watching it.
I don't get what that was
About.
I don't. Because I've got a screenplay of it. I don't get it.
No.
Thank you. It didn't really lead anywhere except the meta thing at the end with the man from U.N.C.L.E. I can only assume that he was like, oh, it'd be fun if like we pitched this as a movie, or you'd never be able to pitch this as a what if they got like self-congratulatory about like, well, we're making it with our money, because presumably like Ritchie like opens the door and like piles of cash fall out, right?
Yeah.
So he's like, well, we'll make the film the way we want to make it, and Farrell and McConaughey will turn up for a packet of beans because they don't get any work these days, right?
Which is a shame because Farrell is so good.
He is really good.
He's so good in so many
He missed the boat. He was really, really good in Tiger Man, and then he did that thing that they do to Hollywood people that they think are going to be better.
He's been good in a bunch of stuff.
No, but after Tiger Man...
In Bruges he's really good in. Phone Booth he's really good in.
No, okay, but so there was... Tiger Land, which was good.
He was shooting Bullseye.
That was the breakout movie. Then they stuck him in a load of other things that were all shit. As like the lead, as like the coming man, he was shit. And then the same thing happened to Clooney. And Farrah was in Phone Booth, and that did okay. Just like Clooney was in... What's the one that Clooney was in?
He was in One Fine Day, The Peacemaker, and one other one that came after Dusk Till Dawn, and they all flopped back to back. I forget what the third one was.
And then he was done when he made Outside. Just like Farrah was done when he made In Bruges. But Farrah was always like had a little boy thing going on, right? It's kind of a youthful thing, whereas Clooney was always like kind of a statesman-like thing. So the fact that Clooney was a bit ragged around the edges by the time Outside took off didn't really matter for his cachet. Whereas Farrah was a bit too old once In Bruges hit to really... So then he's reduced to being like people's dads and supporting roles, but no one's ever going to make him a leading man.
He was nice in the cowboy Jeff Bridges one. He was in that Heart. What's it called? Something Heart.
Oh, the country music one.
Yeah.
Crazy Heart.
Yeah.
I didn't see it.
He was in that.
Okay.
And I liked him in this, and I've liked him in a couple of other things.
No, he's great. I love Colin Farrell. I don't think he's leading man material anymore, which is a shame.
I don't want him to be a leading man.
No, I know, it's fine. Maybe he's happy being.
Unless that movie's in Bruges.
Anyway, my point is, the only reason I can think of the meta thing is that they're laughing about how if they didn't already have tons of money, that this movie would never get made. Like, how would you pitch this movie? Like,
right.
It seems like a lot of... I'd be stunned if a lot of the movie isn't like a bunch of inside jokes, like that he was at a posh dinner with a duke and a drug dealer, or like he was in a stately home and like helped out with the roof costs, or I don't know, but like just a bunch of stuff. Not necessarily that, but like the pub and the Caps and like Arsenal. You know what I mean? Like just a bunch of things.
It's
Let's go. Because I bet they went to Arsenal and they filmed like that bit at an Arsenal game. He's like, right, we've got free tickets. I don't know, like let's go to an Arsenal game or whatever. Like the whole movie's like, I was going to do what the fuck I want.
Right.
Which like I can't help but admire, but I just don't.
Well, it's almost. That's why I think he's been in the business, what, 20 years, 30 years? I don't know. When did Lock, Stock come out? 96?
Early 2000s? Oh, no, you're right. Yeah, it would have been late 90s, right? Yeah.
So what, coming on 25 years?
Yeah.
So been in the business 25 years. I feel like this is his greatest hits album.
I don't even think it's that, because there's not enough going on.
I think he thinks there's so much going on.
I don't know. This to me feels like Ocean's 12.
Yeah.
You know, where they all went around their own fucking like European mansions and just like farted around and filmed it going, this will be great, we'll just film ourselves in the places that we know and we'll have fun and we'll turn it into a movie. And it was rubbish. It's a bit like this.
Yes.
I think it's that kind of level of like, I don't think it's thoughtful, because I think if he had sat down and made a great hits, that could have been fun, but this is more like I'm purely amusing myself, which I can respect.
Yeah, it was
but
also...
doesn't necessarily mean it's a good movie.
I mean, looking back at it now, I'm also like horribly nauseated by everything in Charlie Hunnam's apartment. Like his, I'm drinking $1,500 scotch. I didn't even know you could spend it. Then he's got some like barbecue. They spent a lot of time
on the barbecue.
And I'm like,
type of steak.
I'm like, did B&Q or Homebase go to Ritchie and be like, please show off
that's like
barbecue combo table
Ritchie's,
thing.
It's in like Ritchie's London house.
It's in Ritchie's back garden.
Yeah,
that is Ritchie's back garden.
Yeah, or somebody.
That is Ritchie's back garden.
I love that fucking barbecue.
Yeah, I love that
keeps
fucking
your feet
barbecue.
Warm, lovely.
Yeah,
flat cap. Bob's your uncle. You know what I mean? That's what it is.
Everyone wore hats.
Literally everything happening. Like that pint, like the Old England's whatever, is like that's his local, or like it's a beer that he makes or something.
No, didn't you notice?
Right.
On the emblem on the what do they call them? Pumps. The emblem on the pumps had G. Ritchie's. It has it written across the top.
There you go.
It had G. Ritchie's.
There you go. That's what.
And I think it's the law of the land.
There you go.
What the name of the
there you go.
thing is.
So everything in the movie is that.
I didn't know if it was.
It's like I wonder where they chose that beer? Because it's Ritchie's beer.
It's Ritchie's beer.
Wonder why they chose that barbecue beer? Because it's Ritchie's barbecue. Why that pub? He owns the pub. Why their stag beetles on the wall? He painted those. You know what I mean? Like, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Why an all-female garage? Because, like, he demands that his car is only fixed by, hot chicks in dungarees.
Yeah, I mean, if you wanted to really pick this apart,
I'd appreciate it if he tried to stitch it together.
It's hoary old box, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's all based on the same thing of like, what you thought was happening, something else is really going on the whole time. And they played that trick like 5 times, and none of the times it really worked.
I like the idea that the denouement of a movie that you would be making that was like a heist movie would be like, I was in the bag.
Yeah.
Throughout the movie.
Do you remember? You were on the stakeout with that giant dog costume. Yeah?
That was
me. I was in the giant dog costume. You never saw me.
No, he was just in a bag, and throughout the movie, all normal things happen, and occasionally the camera passes by an enormous bag, and then at the very end of the movie, the guy pops out and be like, I was in the bag the whole time. And they were like, but we had sex on that bag.
And you were somewhere else while that scene was happening.
Yeah, I mean, Charlie Hunnam would have had to have been, for someone who wore a lot of, like, loose sweaters and never seemed to break a sweat, he would have had to have been in 13 different places at once to be watching Hugh Grant. Not only that, but there were parts of that movie where Hugh Grant was watching him. How is he watching Hugh Grant watching him?
It was nonsense. I mean, it's fine because he doesn't. The key thing to remember is at any point in the movie, Guy Ritchie thought, "Does this make sense?" He'd think, "I don't care.
I don't care.
I don't care.
Can't.
I'm doing what I want, not with those snooty critics."
Yeah, it is a load of old wank.
I mean, if you're turning up and making Sherlock Holmes and King Arthur and the Band of Michael and Aladdin, right? He made Aladdin.
He made what?
I think he directed Aladdin.
What are you talking about?
I didn't want to be live.
He directed the live-action Aladdin.
I'm pretty sure that he directed the live-action Aladdin. I'm going to have to look this up now. But I was like, I don't even know what to do with that information.
Did he make Aladdin?
I felt like,
did he make Aladdin?
I've fallen into another reality.
Did he make Aladdin a Cockney heist movie?
No, I think he had Bollywood dance.
Was like Aladdin going around the East End of London being like, I've got a blanket in the back of the van.
Give me the lamp, you sir.
See, now I could have gone for that Aladdin. Did he make Aladdin?
I could be wrong.
He didn't make Aladdin.
I could be wrong.
He can't have made Aladdin. You've got to look this up. No, he didn't direct Aladdin.
He fucking did.
No, he didn't.
He fucking did.
That's a different Guy Ritchie.
That's what I thought. Was like, but what possessed Disney? Like,
right.
At what point did they think, you know what this needs?
Has he just got like insider
This
information?
This is going to be culturally sensitive, so we need to get the culturally sensitive Guy Ritchie.
He made Aladdin.
He made Aladdin.
He made... No.
Yeah?
He made Aladdin.
I know. Right? Don't you feel like the world's somehow broken?
Yeah. Do you know what we found out the other day? We found out that Stephen Baldwin, the right-wing, born-again Christian Baldwin brother,
right,
is Justin Bieber's father-in-law.
What?
He is Justin Bieber's father-in-law. Justin Bieber is married to his daughter.
I feel like the universe went off the rails.
It did.
Sometime in 2000 and... I don't know, what do we think?
I would say 2016. 2016 was really when it hit. It started to really slide down. But Aladdin, I can't.
Right? Right?
Like, was Aladdin going
King
up
Arthur,
being
I guess.
No, King Arthur,
you know
I understood. Because it's like a British...
but initially, your initial reaction was, what? Why would they... And then what, they turning King Arthur into a Cockney gangster apparently go, oh, yeah, all right, I can see that. But there's none of that in Aladdin. It's just like live action. Have
you watched it?
There's no. But it's like Will Smith is the genie. There's like singing and dancing.
You mean Will Smith doesn't pop out and go, all right, everybody, you
Listen, you slag. You can't.
Yeah, everyone goes around
and dancing,
talks in
like,
Cockney
whole,
rhyming.
Bollywood thing, And they went to Ritchie.
They went to Ritchie.
Yes.
Disney got to the like Disney's got to the movie studio point of we have more money than we will ever in 20 lifetimes know what to do with.
Yeah.
So let's get Guy Ritchie to make a live action. Sorry, you were
You're saying they did it for a laugh?
Yes.
But the Disney executives sit around and going, all right, no, wait. Guy Ritchie's Aladdin. You win.
Also,
they all have to pitch the most preposterous idea.
Well, also because they're like...
Tim Burton's Dumbo.
Yeah.
That one last year.
Yeah.
So next year is like, fucking what? Quentin Tarantino's Bambi?
They are doing a live-action Bambi.
Well, watch this fucking space. I bet you it's Tarantino.
Yeah.
No, Roger Avery. Roger Avery comes out of retirement.
That is weird.
Roger Avery's Bambi.
There is an executive.
What was that monologue in the middle of Bambi?
There's an executive somewhere in Disney who is snorting massive lines of insane cocaine. Like, not regular cocaine, but like cocaine laced with acid and heroin. And he's just like, Guy Ritchie's Aladdin.
Guy Ritchie's Aladdin.
Also, can we just talk about the fact that, like...
Maybe it's just like a giant tax write-off.
Someone in Disney went... because Disney made their money off the back of like stealing European fables and buying them and then making their own movies of them and then copyrighting them so that, they then own all their shit in perpetuity.
Yeah.
Same thing they did with Winnie the Pooh and everything. And then someone, somewhere, was like, we've got Marvel, it's doing fine. We've got Star Wars, it's doing fine. I mean, it's not, but you know what I mean.
It's not, though. They made a bit of a balls up with Star Wars. They're expecting to do a Star Wars movie every year, and they scrap that now.
No, I know. But they're doing that, right? And then they've got... Is Avatar going to be Disney as well? Because they've got like 6 Avatars lined up. But someone else...
But you can bet James Cameron got a call. It's like, you got 6 Avatars? Well, you can forget it.
Yeah.
Let's see how Avatar 2 does, even though nobody cares.
Nobody cares.
Also, you made him... The other thing is, James Cameron's like, you made everybody buy 3D.
Right.
And we're not going to forget that.
Right.
Because it's been rubbish.
Right.
We all spent a shit ton of money, and it's rubbish.
Nobody does 3D anymore.
Nobody cares. Nobody can. They just quietly... You can still go to see 3D movies, but like, who cares? I saw Star Wars in 3D. It was like... Couldn't give a shit. Made no difference.
But this is the thing.
I mean, if they made the story and the characters three-dimensional... That would have helped.
But somewhere along the line, this is the other thing as well. You've got Star Wars, right? Yeah. Which apparently it's going to take a fuck ton of shit to like stop money pouring in for that franchise. People will apparently go see anything as long as you go like, well, you know that character from the third movie that has like
if you spend enough money,
Bibbly Bob McCree, who was like the third alien from the left who slightly sniffed Princess Leia as she wandered past in a scene from 1983. We're doing a whole TV series about that guy. People are like, all right, where do I sign up?
To be fair here, I did binge watch The Mandalorian.
I'm not talking about The Mandalorian.
It was really good.
They're going to get to the point where they just... Right. But what I'm saying is...
I tell you what, you would have...
Money's
you're
still
not
rolling
in
in
for The Mandalorian, right? But I'm just telling you right now that you and the casting director of The Mandalorian will get on very well.
I'm sure.
Shall we put Nick Nolte in this as a grumpy dwarf? Yes, we will. Who shall we have as an Empire bad guy? Werner Herzog?
Yeah,
you got it.
But you have...
I think Crossy would love the casting.
You're having me running off the rails here because I've got too many points to make about Nick Nolte's career as well. Because Nick Nolte just randomly shows up as stuff. Oh, you want Liam Neeson's grumpy hobo brother in Run All Night? Nick Nolte. You want Gerard Butler's a hermit father who doesn't believe in technology in Angel Has Fallen? Get fucking Nick Nolte. You want a mad space dwarf?
Nick Nolte. Okay, in the world.
You want someone
wait.
You want someone to out gobbledygook Jason Statham in Parker.
Here's the secret.
Nick Nolte.
Here's the secret. When the world went off the rails in 2016,
Nick Nolte took
the
his
only survivor of the original timeline is Nolte, and that's why he's slowly disintegrating, right? And he talks like a broken tape player.
There's literally a scene in Jason.
It's every year he's in the wrong timeline and he's disintegrating. And the other timeline.
Yeah.
The good timeline.
Yeah.
Where things aren't fucked.
Yeah.
We're not about to be wiped out by some fucking. We're definitely. Just to say, we're definitely all getting wiped out by loads of things. That's clear to me.
What are you talking about?
The thing from China.
It's not wiping anybody out.
Nobody builds a hospital
Mind, can
in
I
like 2
just
days.
swap that garlic mustard?
Oh, yeah.
I'll take that, thank you.
Nobody builds a hospital in 2 days if everything's like, it's just old men with respiratory problems.
Where do they build a hospital?
They're doing it in China. They're building like an entire hospital in like a week or something. No, in 2 days. Yeah. Just for like the victims of the thing. And they banned like all travel between cities. And there's like, if it's only killed like 20 people and they're all old men with breathing problems, you don't shut down the entire country and build a hospital in 2 days. Don't do that shit.
All right.
I'm just telling you, the timeline that we are on
it doesn't matter.
is about to be over.
If we all get
and Nick Nolte will return to his original timeline,
right,
free from wrinkles.
Yeah.
And they'll talk like that.
Yeah, well, there's a scene in Jason Statham's Parker where literally Jason Statham talking like that, and then Nolte comes over and he's talking like Nick Nolte, and the two of them having a conversation is just and Nick Nolte going like they might as well both have tracheotomies and be chewing a rather sour lemon because they're both like, well, I'm fucking Jason Statham. I'm Nick Nolte. It's just the whole thing. So anyway, the Nick Nolte conundrum, I'm a big fan of that. But Disney, right? So you have Marvel ticking along, you have Pixar, you have Lucasfilm.
Marvel's about to go off the rails as well.
Why do you say that?
I think they banked the next thing on Captain Marvel. They banked the first thing on Iron Man. And Iron Man was a good movie. Captain Marvel is not a good movie.
Right.
So I feel like that's going to be a problem. I think building on a not interesting character and a not good movie. Because the other problem with her as a character is that she's literally invincible and can do anything.
Right.
Like she can beat anybody. So she's like irrelevant as a character. I'm sure there's like good comic book storylines, but in a movie that's problematic.
No, they're not. They're very obviously changing tack and trying to build the next thing around Spider-Man. That's what they're doing.
No, they can't. They're losing Spider-Man.
No, they've regained it again.
No, for one movie only.
No, that's not going to happen.
Yeah,
and I'll tell you why. Sony is running into production. So the movie that I was calling like Dr. Angst or whatever, Mr. Inner Turmoil.
Yeah.
Jared Leto, right? He is, along with like Venom, right? He's like another Spider-Man villain, right?
Okay.
And then the Hawk guy that Keaton plays in the first Spider-Man Marvel movie, Homeland or whatever it was called, he shows up in Morbius because they're putting together like the Rogues Gallery, basically like the Suicide Squad, but for the Spider-Man world. And the reason why they're doing all that is because they're banking on Spider-Man eventually being like the lead hero against all these like villains.
Well, then you've got to go back to Sony. Marvel can't build them.
Yeah, you can.
Well, anyway, I don't even count. I'm just saying, I think that the train might have left the station on that one. I don't think the Marvel's going to make it.
It doesn't matter. They have Marvel, they have Pixar, they have Lucas, they have all these things, right? And they're all ticking along.
Yeah. I mean, they do own. Is it something like 8 to 10?
Well, they now own
movies of all time.
They now own 20th Century Fox as well.
Oh,
so anyway, they've got all this stuff ticking along, and then someone somewhere said, "But what about the Disney brand, right? What about the Disney brand, right?" And Disney are not about to do what they did in the 80s and make a bunch of live-action films. And in terms of animation, they don't want to compete with Pixar because that's already their animation arm chugging out movies.
I don't agree with that because they did Zootopia and Ralph Breaks the Internet and Frozen. Like those did big money. Frozen was like massive money. They're not.
Yeah, I forgot about Frozen.
No, their whole tactic is just remake old cartoons.
Wait, family what I was trying to get around to say, which is it's taken me a long old time to say,
sorry,
is that I remember it feels like, and tell me if I'm wrong, but it feels like it was just last year when they were like, oh, let's do a live action Jungle Book, whatever the first one was. I forget what, I think it was
Jungle Book, yeah.
The Jon Favreau Jungle Book, right?
Well, they did Dumbo,
like,
right? I guess the first one was Alice in Wonderland, I think about it.
No, but that was years ago.
No, that was but they just made that. They're like, fuck it, we'll make Alice in Wonderland.
No, that was Burton. That was years ago. I'm not talking about recent.
No, but wait.
I've been trying to get something out.
I don't know,
for
but
like
it's
20
listen,
minutes.
the reason Alice in Wonderland,
so frustrating.
The reason Alice in Wonderland is significant is they just did it as like whatever. It's a Lewis Carroll thing, like Tim Burton, yeah, whatever, and it made a ton of money. And that's when they started developing, because that's why it takes like 3-4 years. That's when they started developing all these live action remakes of their
things. That wasn't my point.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
My point was, in the recent rash of them, which I believe began with Jon Favreau's Jungle Book. I believe that was the first one.
Okay.
Right? And I believe that was only 2 or 3 years ago. Right?
Yeah.
How many have they already... what I'm trying to say is, it is absolutely blowing my mind that rather than being like, we'll do one summer tentpole Disney remake, like one a year, I feel like in 3 years, and forgive me if I'm wrong, we've had Jungle Book, Lion King, Dumbo, what were we just talking about? Aladdin. Something else has come out. What else has come out? Like we've had a whole... Like I feel like we've just had a whole bunch.
I know what you mean. I think you probably find it's actually since then they've been doing like summer, winter, kind of thing.
But they've been doing 2 a year.
They did a Winnie the Pooh one.
Do you mind closing the tab for me?
Oh yeah, I'm sorry, yeah.
No, take your time though. You can hang out as long as you like.
No, we should go soon.
Yeah.
Winnie the Pooh was the other one. Right. I actually quite liked that, but it wasn't as good as Paddington. Paddington was the best. We'll just split it. Yeah. How much was mine?
£1 billion.
How did it come to $31?
Well, mine was 18 and yours was 10.
Okay. We'll do half. How about this? We do half and you do the tip.
Yeah, okay.
Because I'm already paying $5 over what I should be paying.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah, it's utterly baffling. It's utterly baffling to me that there is an audience out there for like a Lion King remake.
Well, they're trying to. They're leveraging the IP, aren't they? And they're seeing, because the other thing is if they do well, then. Because what used to happen with Disney, right, is they would do a big part of Disney's...
Oh, they did Mary Poppins, the sequel.
Oh, yeah, that's true. A big part of Disney's money, right?
They're just too much money.
Oh, but a big part of Disney's thing has always been direct-to-video sequels. There's been a big money spent on it. You do the big movie, right? Whatever the fuck it is.
There's like Fox and Hound, and then there's like Fox and Hound 2.
Right. So you made like 2, 3, 4, whatever, because you stick them
Lady
out.
and the Tramp 2, right.
So you can do the same thing with movies, right? If they remake
The Rescuers Down Under,
makes enough money, then they'll just do a Lion King 2.
Because like, what about that? Like back in the 80s when they were like, well, we've done a movie, let's do a sequel, but this time Australia. That's almost like your go-to exoticism for like, where do they speak English but it's slightly more exotic than where we are? Australia. They can't do New Zealand because for some reason Americans can't wrap their head around New Zealand. They just clump them all in with Australia. They can't wrap it as like they can for like cheap TV. They make a lot of cheap TV in New Zealand, but they can't wrap. But there's no
cheap TV in Australia.
But there's no I mean they make cheap American TV in
I see.
New Zealand.
Yes, please. Thank you very much.
Like Xena, Hercules, Ash vs. Evil Dead.
I think they're making the Lord of the Rings show there.
Lord of the Rings, yeah, they will do.
That won't be cheap, though.
No. But it kind of... Like, that's the other thing. A Lord of the Rings TV show. I was like, what's happening to the world? Nobody needs that. We've got 572 hours of films. Like, if people are that...
But they're like 20 years old now. The trouble is we're getting to that age. Well, we're like, what do they need a new thing for? They just made one. They really didn't. We're now in prime it's been 20 years since The Thing, so let's make The Thing. Or it's been 20 years since Halloween, so let's make Halloween, right? That's where we are now. That's where we live. 20 years is a long fucking time.
It's half my life. It wasn't 20 years ago that they made Lord of the Rings. No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. Lord of the Rings was in the 2000s.
You were with
Beth.
Right.
But
and I was at university when you were with Beth.
It's 15 years. It's 15 years since Return of the King.
Maybe 15 years.
When did they win all the Oscars? Wasn't that the 06 Oscars?
Maybe, but then that's 20 years since the first one, nearly.
Yeah, all right. That's crazy.
I know, that's what I'm saying. It's
that's crazy.
It feels like, where we need a new one for it, because the new one is not
No, but
new.
since then we've had 15 Hobbits and wasn't there a
Did have 3 Hobbit
movies?
movies? Yeah, that's true.
We had 3 Hobbit movies? Are there 3 Hobbit movies?
Can I say something that literally everybody on planet Earth disagrees with me about?
What?
I quite like the Hobbit movies.
I haven't seen them.
They're quite good.
But there's 3 of them.
It's like, basically the Hobbit movies, what if we made the Lord of the Rings movie, but instead of them walking and complaining, they're running and shouting. That's the only difference between the movies, pretty much.
Right.
Instead of walk and complain,
Right.
they run and they shout.
Well, no.
And the thing that bores me most about Lord of the Rings movies is all the fucking complaining. Thank you very much. I cannot hack the complaining.
You cannot abide it.
Can't abide it.
Well, I don't know what that episode was like, but it was an episode, so be thankful for it. But I feel like we went all over the shop with that.
Well, I'm glad we did this. I hope we can do it again on Thursday.
Sure.
I'd quite like to do the one that I know you don't want to do.
What?
The underwater monster one with Kristen Stewart.
Fuck no.
But it'll be a silly B movie.
No, with Kristen fucking Stewart.
Yeah, but I like Kristen
She's
Stewart.
awful.
She's
Name
not.
one good thing she's ever done.
Well, I quite like the spooky French one.
No. No.
The
When you go-
Personal Shopper.
No.
It was good.
No.
All right. I like Personal Shopper.
No time for Kristen Stewart and her ironic, eye-rolling, mumbly.
No, it's not ironic.
coughing
No.
dribble.
That's why,
I got no time for it.
but that's why Personal Shopper
I
was
have
really good.
no
Because it was a
time for
proper, those weird.
Don't try and tell me I'm a
French
Kristen
mysteries.
Stewart.
All right,
I'm not watching it.
I have always had a soft
No.
spot for weird French mysteries.
No. Done.